Hello?
Oh, my apologies. I had no idea I was on mute this whole time. Yeah,
Oh
so
no.
right. Hopefully, maybe it might show up in the recording. I don't know. I'll say it all again though. But yeah. Well, please don't hesitate to. Thank you for your patience, by the way. But please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions or anything you want to mention. Um, I'm glad that I was saying that I'm glad that you got this 6 month report for now because we're gonna see this energy come out of your seventh and into your first. So I really like when there's a uniform flow of energy from like one hemisphere to the other. So this is as a Pisces rising coming out of Virgo season through Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Cap, Aqua, and then we finish out in Pisces. And the significance of transits through the upper northern hemisphere is that you're taking this awareness of yourself with other people in the seventh, eighth house, and you're developing your character that since Pisces season of 2020 in March, you've developed and perfected in September, and now you're taking this facet of yourself for the next 6 months, and through other people, you're developing and showing up and connecting accordingly, which will now once again evolve your being. So by the time we step into Pisces, you're so much more powerful, confident, and then this goes into 6 months again of personal development before we reach Virgo season again and do it all over again. So the difference between this year's go around versus last year Jupiter was in your 10th. Congratulations, by the way. You have Neptune transiting your first, which already as an ascended master with this Pisces title, even though you do represent Source as a Leo sun. With the Pisces rising, Neptune is transcending more your ability to shapeshift and reflect vibrations back to people, which is even more important because your moon is here. So this makes you exceptionally receptive to vibes in and of itself, giving you the vibration of divine courage or divine love. And there's a lot that's occurring here. Over the next 6 months, Saturn's going to begin its Saturn return for you. Like we said last year, Jupiter was in your 10th. So this was you coming into rewards for the work you've done to build your legacy. We know that your destiny is 29 degrees Sag, which is a huge deal. And the South Node has long since gone over here. So you've completed, every 10 years, you complete your destiny path with the opposition. And then it comes back another 10 years for the conjunction to reestablish a new destiny path. So once again, this is very important because last year around this period was all about you integrating your relationships with others with these just changing your career goals and the direction you're taking, how you bring people to this public sense of yourself. And now this year, this is all about coming into new associates, friendships, but since Saturn is also here, it's been making your friends and social circle way tighter. Usually Saturn transiting here weeds away friends and kind of only keeps those who have integrity.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, thank you for that confirmation. It's just kind of interesting to have Jupiter here at the same time. When I had Jupiter in my 11th in Pisces, um, I was studying to be an electrical engineer, and I met who would eventually end up being my best friend at the time, and who was a Pisces sun and moon. And he also introduced me to the collective and core associates that I would be connecting with that cycle and beyond. So I know a lot of friends now through him, which showed me how the 11th house works. So I don't know if for you this will mean you'll meet a Capricorn. I don't know if you have met a Capricorn, but it's definitely just going to speak more of you evolving your social circle. In Capricorn, you connect with the elites here. And this also extra dimensionally harnesses your supernatural abilities with Uranus and Neptune. Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto have awakened this for the first time ever. And this speaks of the intuitive. This is exclusive for the '90s gen. The intuitive capabilities, really more so late '80s to or mid '90s. Your body is an antenna. It connects you straight to God, and even though your spirit connects you straight to Source, Neptune connects you straight to that God force vibration through your body, through physical sensations, through vibrations and frequencies you harness and channel through your body. And so this will really help you feel into whether an individual is trustworthy or not, whether they have great character and their integrity. Neptune in Cap is going to be a bit of an asshole here. It's not going to sugarcoat anything. It's just going to be like, this person ain't shit. This person's a waste of time. This person is kind of cool. So it takes a while to I feel like the Leo vibration is able to harness and put that in check more than any other one, because Capricorn is transformed by Leo. So this actually gives you more onus to control this, but which isn't a bad or good thing, but definitely a thing. So we know that this go around, this 11th house chapter, when we talk about Virgo season, Libra season, Scorpio season, and Sagittarius season, from late September to end of November, yes, to end of December rather, is going to highlight the mastery now of you manifesting the gains from your career, because last year you established and evolved your legacy since like 2010. So it was a huge culmination. Now that you're coming into 11th house, which congratulations, by the way, because this is also securing the highest destiny at 29 degrees. You're definitely someone who is meant to change the world at some of the highest divine levels or amazing levels, mainly how the world sees magic, mainly how the world sees into meaning, and mainly how the world can embrace greater adventure because of your destiny being aligned here too. So now this is manifesting associates who have come into victory too, and are ready to move more as a more powerful unit. So Virgo season, we're going to see this. We've seen this as you fleshing out the partnerships that not only reflect who you've become, but because this is trining Uranus in the 10th and your all this Capricorn energy in your 11th, this is now set the stage to, over the next 5 months, take new friendships, new partnerships, and build that narrative by the time we step into Capricorn season, which will shift things considerably. Now, as a Pisces rising, Pisces and Aquarius risings take a little bit longer because y'all have to wait for humanity to wake up, which is kind of torture. But
I feel like sorry, does this correlate with what's coming on Capricorn season of 2021? That I feel like this kind of correlates with your what you've been talking about through your daily horoscopes here. When we come to the final boss, I believe, to my understanding, that's what you said, of Capricorn season in 2021.
Oh, I'm in of 2020, this year. So
Okay.
Capricorn season of 2019, Jupiter was in the 10th. Of 2020, Jupiter's in your 11th, and of 2021, it's going to be in your 12th. So that's where we're going to see the yearly themes, because every year around this period, you work on your 8th house. Now that the sun's in Libra, right? You're leaving the 7th, you're coming into the 8th. This is going to have you now manifest the results of how much more powerfully you've evolved, and it's amazing because actually you evolve every Virgo season personally for you because you have Jupiter. So everyone kind of has these yearly points, and for you it's right after your solar return. So this is everything you're bringing to the table, marking 6 months of personal development that will see you out the next 6 months. And the difference now between last year and next year is that this year, once we step with that square, Saturn and Pluto are going to go direct in Libra season. And this is going to have you break through forever the trust issues that go into how powerfully you could exert your focus dealing with others, especially with Venus that rules your 8th being in the 7th. It's going to flesh out not just trust issues, but hidden facets and secret facets of relationships that may have inhibited you and induced a lot of social anxiety with the angles that Libra makes to your Pisces moon, because your Pisces moon is going to be feeling vibes that other people may not necessarily always feel into, and this can kind of create unease. So this is where you address this instead of kind of just suppressing it. Now you fully address it, you break through, you take your power back, which is amazing. Because when we step it, and I'm glad that you kind of confirm that, because this is very much so a lifelong narrative that leading into your Saturn return not only takes your power back, but returns your power, establishes your authority. So next year, once this goes in your 12th, because as a Pisces rising, you still have to clear this 12th house. It could be a period of isolation. It could be a period where you're definitely going to be spending more time in yourself, because the 12th house releases. What you're releasing is the knowledge that guided your life up until now. Because next year is going to hit, and you're going to be like, oh, wow, everything I taught was like thoroughly wrong. Everything I was taught was thoroughly wrong. And everything that I always knew that might not have made sense to other people was actually right, especially according to you. And this is where now, as a Leo, Saturn and Jupiter opposite your sun is going to be a character test. Thankfully, you've had this your whole life. So unlike most Leos, it's going to be intense for you because Pluto squares your sun, which is also very, very, very harsh. But I mean, for you, it'll be like been there, done that. It's going to be like the revisiting of a lifelong lesson. Like for some Leos, it's going to wreck them because they're not used to this pressure. But you've had this pressure your whole life. So this is going to be more so really revisiting this lesson and making it, being the boss of it pretty much. And it's going to really represent moving forward from Capricorn season, but really Aqua season, controlled opposition, taking unconscious behaviors and now taking over your spirituality by, ever since Leo season now, strengthening your behavior and applying advanced techniques to your spiritual path or unconscious behaviors to now take back a lot of what's inhibited you. Because Saturn in the 12th could be like a hidden treasure of knowledge, but it could just be a part of you that's been backlogged all your life and you've never really been able to connect to, and also speaks of unconscious pain you're healing because of the Chiron opposition that sometimes can have you doubt your own, behavior and lifestyle. And then Pluto that squares this makes this harsher. A lot of your Saturn return is going to be the harshest ever, like the 91, 92. It's the harshest, but it's also the strongest. Y'all are going to put the older generation in place in ways that even we wouldn't. So it definitely is set to be a challenge, but I think it's going to be so liberating because this is definitely going to harness especially as we step into Scorpio season now, your Pluto 20 degrees. So Libra season is going to have you break through these social dynamics, and more so through these tests in Libra season, ultimately show you coming into Scorpio who really is trustworthy and who's ready to moving forward, gain greater prominence and experience with you, let's say. Because a lot of how this energy accordingly manifests itself will very, 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 very powerfully kind of open up this unconventional sense of realization moving forward, especially when we take into account once again how powerfully you will be evolving in such a short period. And much
what
of this
I feel like I've been needing. So
you feel like you've been eating?
Needing that.
Oh, you feel like you've been needing that.
Yes.
Right. Good to know. And that's really one thing I appreciate about astrology. Just kind of more so the facet that, like, normally people end up very powerfully, like, how do I say it? Right before they go through their transit, they usually start asking those questions, which shows the natural sync. It's like, you may not be aware that that's the transit you're going through, but the fact that you're asking those questions is key that you're ready to accomplish it. So, there's a whole lot in a few short months that you're going to be accomplishing and exponentially evolving into. And this is, once again, all to kind of set you up for this aqua square that is going to be very challenging because you're dealing with this hidden 12th house energy, but it's really just meant to unlock your latent abilities. If we can think of Saturn as like a limiter that in an unconscious sense has really inhibited you your whole life out of protection, really. And you are aware of this in relationships with other people, because as a Leo sun, it's like, you can do so much. You know yourself, you're very capable, but it's just kind of like limits that kind of like block you. And it's like, it's not. Right. That's because it's really not you. It's literally like an unconscious mental block. And then Pluto reinforces it through this vulnerability. So that's why this period is so important, in that you're going to be breaking through this forever.
Thank God.
And right. And like, I mean, it's going to feel like a huge weight jacket is just literally gone. And you're going to feel so much more empowered. I feel like it may take another 2 years, because what we want to see is all this energy come around to your rising sign. Because once you have Saturn, Jupiter is going to transit your first house and start that 12th house chapter 2022. And then by 2023, boom, Saturn is ready to officially transit, of course, your first house. And Jupiter is going to be your first chapter. Saturn's going to really officiate that. So by then, you're getting ready to really step onto your purpose, and this is going to come around. I mean, you're still going to come into it, during your Saturn return, but you want to see this period more as just clearing the old world, especially if during this period coming into next year, relationships start to blend away, and maybe you things just start not working out, and you're like, wait, what's happening? You're releasing. That's why. It's preparing you for the most amazing chapter of your life, but you kind of got to go through that 12th house kind of like ending. So the frustration with this is it's just unconscious. It's hard to really see into, but thankfully your Leo sun will through your behavior kind of key you in to how to finesse and finagle this. But you know, coming into Scorpio season now, this is where, of course, much of Venus will have caught up to the rest of the gang, and it'll be finishing out through Libra, which once Venus is coming out of your seventh into the eighth, the Mercury retrograde transit we're going to have end of October into November is going to have you reevaluate how deeply you see into your connections with people and the wisdom that now will, through context clues, highlight a lot of where these inhibitions have kind of changed you. A lot of these realizations are coming more so now because Neptune and Uranus are awakening in your chart. So you're going to be more aware of the unconscious dynamics that allow others to influence you and you to influence others. Very, very subtle, but also still very, very powerful. And, because this is very uninhibitive and limiting, you don't really have to activate or step into anything because you're already super strong. You're very magical. This for you, it's very similar to me. This process for you is just shedding layers and just releasing everything that's been holding you back. And not in the sense where it's like, because in one sense, it's like you have been holding yourself back, but it's really not you. It's really been a lot of conditioning. It's really just this indirect roundabout. Like it's you, but it's not you. I'll say that. It's like an aspect of you that's more influenced by other people, which is why you have to take your power back. And that's what's going to have you redefine what it is. And this is when you're going to be like, oh, wow, I was right about this the whole time. I was right about this the whole time. I was right about that the whole time. And that's where Saturn kind of protects you by making you come off a bit quirky and weird so that people don't dig too deep. And it kind of, preserves your secrets or what needs to be preserved. So, yeah, coming out of that retrograde, that's what's going to facilitate a much greater understanding now as we close Scorpio season into a lot of how to come into the hidden meanings of everything you've experienced this year. Because by this period, now Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn are ready to move out of Capricorn for good. I mean, they've been in there so long. It's been so dramatic. And around this period, too, Mercury and the Sun will be opposite Uranus. Uranus in your third is connecting the rest of the Earth in your chart. And this is giving you an unconventional, solid attitude as a Pisces rising that can feel the ultimate reason, which is one of your most amazing superpowers. You and I both have the Scorpio signature. So we're both transformers. As a Gemini sun, I transform into Capricorn. As a Leo sun, you transform into your divine state, right? Pure soul, in divine soul, rather, which gives you divine conduit status in Pisces. So the third house anchored here has you think outside the box in grounded ways to flesh out physiologically what you feel and what's in your heart and how you also connect and manifest through gestifry. It's almost as if you can communicate to the universe using your body language in a response to that too, which could also bring in dance to manifestation. But now Scorpio season is going to be drawing out ideas that you can change the way you communicate and connect and show you now the completed nature of this. It was a checkpoint in Leo season. Scorpio season is going to complete this with the opposition to Uranus here, while also trining Neptune to guide you in more unconventional ways of connecting with people and showing you how to glean, intuitive insight through these dynamics. Then Sagittarius season is going to complete the next level of this eclipse, which for you, because the North Node is transiting your fourth house, coming closer to Mars, it's getting ready to highlight the hidden private truth that goes in you discerning connections with other people and fleshing out those details. So this eclipse period was meant to really unlock the truth of your family ancestry, and it's using the resources of the success you've actually gained in the world to now build a greater foundation. When I went through something like this was around the time I worked with Astrological. I became Magic Mike. And so I was able to secure my own, this is a very important period for me where I was able to like live on my own and not have to like be supported by anyone else because of that fourth house emphasis and being able to come into my own success. So this is a once again even more pivotal period for you because with Mars here, it's going to be unlocking a new desire of where you can take your career. And Sagittarius season will now show you clearly the direction of where to take this over the next 6 months for when you come back to Gemini season 2021. The checkpoint will be Pisces season of 2021, where now that you know the direction, you're going to now redefine who you are, this time relative to Jupiter and Saturn being in your 12th house. And now that Jupiter and Saturn moving forward into Capricorn season will be in your 12th, the new theme and lesson, okay, is release. Now that you've gained from career in the 11th house, the 12th house is clearing the field of harvest and getting ready to plant new seeds once this steps into Pisces. And the 12th house can be very difficult, but you just want to see it as like the end, the last chapter, the last season, and you getting ready to, in this case with Saturn, you may very well just decide to stop doing the work you do. It's going to denote a new direction that you're taking in. Capricorn season, of course, will now complete a lot of the work done since now to develop friendships and people you know. Venus will catch up in Capricorn, and this is what's also going to flesh out now with Mars, which has long since been direct, and by Capricorn will be in Taurus, okay, on Uranus, having you get to take action off of this new grounded sense of your attitude. It's like Uranus and Taurus is allowing you to listen to your body and have your body lead because you're so intuitively tuned into your soul. This clashes with Leo, which is more, extroverted. But by the time we step into Aquarius season, the square will be more so defined. Cap and Aqua season will have the Aqua square to Taurus. And this is really more so now inducing unconscious supernatural abilities to change the way you move in your body. Furthermore, reinforced in Aqua season, it's going to get pretty paranormal, a little funky here. Mercury is going to retrograde. It's going to have you reevaluate spiritual beliefs, the knowledge of spiritual beliefs that you've always felt you've known, but now you're going to realize around this period, oh, wow, this was hidden from me. It's like your own soul being like, okay, so you've been an alien this whole time and we didn't really tell you. And you have these abilities, and it's going to be crazy like that. It's going to be like your soul takes you into a basement in yourself that it didn't think you were ready for until your Saturn return, which has officially started by this period. And this is going to now be the official beginning of this sense of this cycle. Venus will have caught up with everything else by then too. And this will kind of just be releasing the old sense of you, which now by Pisces season in March of 2021, you're getting ready to identify with this newer sense of you relative to this 12th house chapter, which will guide us into Aries and have us start that cycle with you releasing old values that no longer apply because, this 12th house is also somewhat of an awakening as well. And we'll end that off with Mars transiting the North Node in Gemini before it, shifts into Cancer, tail end of Aries season with Venus now coming over Uranus and Taurus. So did you have any final questions?
I know, and just I'm glad that I'm finally going to be able to wash away the old habits and the old isolation and come into what I'm meant to do and to feel what, the awakening of the pure divinity that you were referencing. it's been a long ride for me, so I'm glad I'm gonna reach a breakthrough. And it, what do you know the specific abilities that will help me push forward in the uh
So it looks like these abilities are going to be, it looks like the abilities will be more tied into an integration of all the elements you have, because you're very spread out pretty powerfully. Saturn is going to be unlocking a universal manipulation where you can call on celestial forces. In the 12th, this will be more supernaturally drawn out. So because there's this hidden sense of karma, you're going to come into how responsible you have to be with this, because that's kind of why it has to be hidden, because there's certain things you'll do that'll affect other people, and like they can't know that. They can't really know. It's like Bruce Almighty. Like they can't really know that you're doing that. And or you know what you know. So it's going to be claircognizance. It's going to be bringing out more your fire ability to charm and create. It's going to also bring out your manifestation ability with your earth. And it's just going to really kind of, in hindsight, integrate everything. And this next chapter is just kind of like learning what has been hidden from you that you can now integrate finally, like the final piece of the puzzle.
Okay. All right. I feel like I'm ready. I've been waiting for years, so
Nice.
I think everything I went through in the past is the reason why I had to do that, go through what I had to go through.
True.
Questions. So you're retiring February. That means no more consultations, no more clients.
Yeah, I'm gonna do consultations February. I'm just not gonna do reports anymore.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's all I have for now. I'm just taking everything in, and I'm just gonna trust myself and go through what I have to go through.
Sounds good.
So thank you for taking.
No, yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Much appreciated for your patience, and I'm gonna just send you this right now.
Okay. All right.
You stay blessed as always.
You too.